Hi, I'm Aaron from Columbia. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change a taper cable. For the taper cable repair, you need a flathead screwdriver, a pair of needle nose pliers, and your new taper cable. You get 3 with the kit. You have 2 extras just in case. You also need some type of push rod to push the plunger out. I use just a piece of steel bar. You can use anything. I've seen people use folded up bead before. Just something to push the old plunger out. To start the repair, you need to remove the bottom ring. To do this, you need to remove the 3 flathead screws that hold the bottom ring in place. Use the flathead screwdriver, reverse them out. Make sure you keep the screws because we're going to need them to put the bottom ring back on. Okay, once you have the screws out, you can remove the bottom ring. There's an O-ring that holds it in place there, so it can be a little bit tight. Next, go to the head of the taper. We're going to remove the taper cap. To do that, pull your pin out. There's a key ring. You pull the taper cap pin out. Then pull up on the taper cap and pull it out. Once you have the cap open, put your taper into neutral by putting your mud gate over your push rod. That allows the taper to run in neutral. Take your push rod, whatever you're going to use, push your plunger to the bottom of the taper. Remove the push rod. Then there's a flathead screw on your cable spool that holds the cable in place. You take your flathead screwdriver and loosen this screw off, enough so that you can get the cable out from underneath it. Then using the needle nose pliers, grab the cable and pull it out of the slot. Then take your push rod, put it back down, and push your plunger cup out the bottom of the taper. To remove your old cable, there's 2 nuts on the plunger cup, a brass nut and a steel nut. Remove the steel nut. The cable will just pop out. Discard the old cable. Take your new cable, put it through the stainless steel nut, and then there's a slot. The brass nut's actually a castle nut, which has slots in it. There's a slot that matches up with the slot in the bolt. That's where you want the cable to rest. So you put the cable in there and then tighten down your steel nut. You want to watch how much you tighten down the nut so that you don't turn the brass nut at the bottom. So just give it a nice firm tighten, but not too tight. Your cable should be able to move in that slot when you're finished. Take the end not attached to the plunger cup, put it back in the bottom of the taper. And then put the plunger cup back in the bottom of the taper. Push it in. Once you have the plunger cup inside, you can put your bottom ring back on. The way the bottom ring lines up, on one side there's 2 holes, and on the other side there's a single hole. So you have to line those up with the holes on the base of your taper. Make sure they're lined up before you put it back in. Place it in, and then you can replace the 3 flathead screws and tighten them down. Don't tighten them all down until you have all of them in. Leave each one loose. Once you have your bottom ring back in, take your push rod, push the plunger all the way to the head area of the taper. Find your cable with the needle nose, pull it through, get it all the way through. So take the ball end of the cable, place it into the ball slot on the cable spool. It's a press fit, so press the cable ball into the ball slot. Then put your cable underneath the flathead screw. And then tighten the flathead screw down. Take your push rod, push the plunger all the way back down to the bottom of the taper. Your push rod's all the way down at the bottom. You can wind your cable back up. I keep a little pressure on the push rod so that the cable winds up nice and tight. Once it's all the way to the top, you can remove your push rod. Okay, now you can put your taper cap back on. Make sure your separation plate is between the cable pulley and the push rod. Put it in place. Slide it all the way down, push it in. Put your taper cap pin back in place. And now you're ready to go. Thank you for watching today's repair video. For more instructional videos, please go to columbiatools.com.